Welcome back to Creative Harbor. I'm Jessica, and in this video, I am experimenting with Prismacolor Premier Double-Ended Markers. This is my first time using this product other than making color swatches for reference. I'm hoping to use them a few more times before I give my review, but from the short time I was using them, I really did enjoy them. I really dove into this purchase and committed myself to a 72 count set. I believe you can buy them individually and in sets of 12, 24, 48, and there might be a few more out there that I'm just not aware of. I got mine a few months ago back on Amazon when they did a stellar price drop. It's definitely worthy of tossing into your Amazon cart and just watching them to see if they drop in price. I've also seen Prismacolor sold at larger retailers like Michael's or Craft Warehouse, but do your shopping around because these bad boys are an expensive investment. I, myself, am a huge fan of buying online. You just can't beat the convenience. Off on my right, I've laid out my Prismacolor pencils. I didn't end up using many of them, but they are fantastic. I believe I ended up using a French gray for shading, butter yellow, and a warm brown to give depth and to punch it up with some color in the eyes. And there might be a few others in the mix, but I was just grabbing as I went and going off of feeling and sticking with whatever the outcome was. I had got the color pencils sometime in February, and to become more familiar with them, I assigned myself a challenge of drawing 30 celebrities in 30 days. And it's a shame I didn't complete all 30, but I did knock out some drawings, and it really gave me a good appreciation and feel for the quality of the pencil. Most of my experience has been with lower end products. So by having this fine art material, it was night and day difference. Not only could you see the difference, but you could also feel it, and it just gave a overall better end result. When I set out to make this video, my only goal was to try out the markers. I wasn't sure what I was going to make or what I wanted to say. I just wanted to start and see where it would end up taking me. Ultimately, I went to my go-to Octopi. I love anything to do with the sea, and I knew that drawing my favorite animal would be best in holding my interest. Quite honestly, there were a few times I had to fight myself not to scrap this. Quite a few times, actually. I filmed this over 3 days after work, and it wasn't until I was about done when I finally started to really enjoy the process of all of it. I truly want to practice what I'm advocating. It is really important to draw every day, and it is the only way that you're going to retain the visual language and be able to put that skill to work. But life is hard, and time is hard to come by, and most days my inspiration doesn't hit me. At this point, in comfortable fashion, I'm finding myself sacrificing making art and videos. I justify this to myself because my work days are so long and I have other priorities that other people rely on me for. But there will always be something that pulls your attention away, whatever it may be. It's the struggle of pushing past the barriers and remembering your passion and your love for the craft. When I allow myself to freely draw, I love making little whimsical drawings that make me laugh. And I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. But I want to pursue it further and push deeper and have deeper intention and thought process behind my creativity. The best way I can describe what I'm talking about is to ask you to imagine the feeling of having a lack of education. You know, perhaps some people are born with talents, maybe others have an interest in a particular subject, and that's what really pushes them forward to invest the time, and that's what hones the skills. Maybe it's a little bit of both. But to have a certain level of talent and not to have training behind it can feel really frustrating. When I sit down to draw something, I already have something that's in my mind. I don't see it clearly, but the overall picture and layout, it's like it's already there. So I have the map. And then when I get a blank piece of paper, I can visualize the lines on there. And for the most part, I can execute them. And I'm visualizing the way it needs to go, but my hand isn't listening to my brain. It's like not being able to communicate or communicate effectively and trying to get your point across, except the person that you're communicating with, you're speaking a whole different language and it doesn't service you. And the frustration builds from there because you're feeling like your voice is muted. And I think that's the best scenario that I could give trying to describe that sensation of having a skill set, no matter where that might be in your lifetime, and not being able to effectively put down what you have visually in your mind. If you can relate to this feeling, then know that you're not alone, and I think it's just part of it, of the process. So, half of it is just acknowledging it, accepting it, and then the most important part is moving on from it. You can't dwell in the negatives, otherwise, it will outweigh the positives. And speaking from my experience, you'll end up not doing the thing you love, which is making art. It's almost like self punishment. So just go through the cycle, accept, and move on. I think it's best to try to self educate and learn from others and learn by practicing. And I think by doing the combination of those two things, by aspiring to others' artwork and doing the due diligence of being active in your own creativity on the daily, even on the days that you really don't want to, that will give you a drive to push you further. I don't want to dwell on the subject, but I did want to share with you guys what has been going on in my mind lately, and it's kind of been weighing in my thoughts, and I wasn't even really sure how to approach the subject, but I think it's something that we've all felt at one point. Switching gears, I also wanted to go over some of the items that I've been using other than the Prismacolor. The octopi was outlined with a calligraphy pen that I had dipped into Speedball India ink, and it's in super black. And I was introduced to this product recently, and there's a few reasons why I love it. First, it's seriously deep space 9, very crisp black. And I feel like this helps gives a comic style to the artwork, and I dig it. Secondly, another huge benefit is that it is waterproof. And in my experience, I would call it like 99% water resistant. because it still tends to pick up with the ink and get smeared just a little bit. It's so minute that it wouldn't stop me from using the product or recommending it. It's one of those things that go ahead, try it for yourself and see how it works with whatever art and media that you do. I've also been using a white gel pen to accent certain areas on the octopi and to add highlights in the ink and also to give some texture to the water that is in the background. I'm a huge fan of another YouTuber, Will Terrell. He uses this gel pen in his people sketching videos, so I thought I would give it a try for myself, and I have to say it is dangerously fun to use. Very easy to go overboard with the highlighting and just go on a rampage with it, but nevertheless, it's really fun to use. And the paper that I'm using is a 9 by 12 Bristol paper. It's smooth in texture and is excellent for ink. I laid multiple layers of pen and ink down and it held it really well. I don't really have that much experience with this paper type as I solely got it to work with the Prismacolor pens, but I'll definitely be using it again because it is really easy to work with. Just to touch lightly on the Prismacolor markers themselves, they were really fun to use. I think they transition beautifully into the other colors. I really appreciated having the light grays to help blend and give depth and dimension to the artwork. And I'm looking forward to my next project when I sit down to use them and get a little bit more comfortable and familiar with the product. But overall, I really like them. We have come to the end of the video, but I wanted to take the time to say thank you guys for checking out my video. It was really fun to be able to use this, and I look forward to using it a little bit more so I can give you guys a real solid review. Everyone take care. Bye-bye.